Welcome to Nice Ashes. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate. What are we smoking, Mike?
We are following up our horrific experience with the Baccarat The Game Connecticut with a Baccarat The Game Maduro. Both Robustos. Yeah. Favorite size of the show.
Oh, they're Rothschilds, aren't they?
Are these Rothschilds technically? I suppose they are.
That's what it said.
Yeah, these are Rothschilds.
That's what my discerning eye noticed. Nah, I'm kidding. The label said it. Or the sticker on the plastic sleeve. This cap is sweet too, so I'm a little apprehensive.
Yeah, but it's a Maduro. It's a lot easier to make a shitty cigar not as bad with a Maduro, I feel.
Let's hope.
Let's hope so.
Should we light it? Yeah. Let's see if it lights easily or if it has trouble lighting like the other one did. Yeah, a little tricky light still. Not as tricky a light as the Connecticut.
I'm still in the lighting process.
Okay. Why are we doing this again, Mike? I'm going to have to see if my wife can bring me out a bar of soap to chew on.
Nowhere near as hard to light. Nowhere near as hard.
No.
I also lit it a little bit more aggressively than last time, knowing it might be more difficult.
Yeah, me too.
I'm getting woodiness and acetone.
Yeah, that's why I said, why are we doing this again, Mike? Why? Yeah, I guess, yeah, there it is.
Whoa!
So, right, the acetone bit at the start isn't normally a cause for concern because a lot of really good cigars have that, the first few puffs. But after having smoked a whole cigar of acetone, I'm not really holding out a whole lot of hope for this one, so hopefully it blows us away, but we'll see.
Oh, that is...
I'm again pairing this with root beer, Frost Top Diet root beer, so...
Oh my God, I might have to go... I mean, I don't want to have to grab a glass of whiskey.
I know.
But...
Well, did you hear me when I said I'm going to have my wife bring me a bar of soap to suck on?
Yes, I did. Whoa.
Yeah.
I almost have grit on my teeth from that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, as we're getting over our initial shock and PTSD triggering from last episode, what are we talking about, Mike?
Ooh. So, this is an appropriate topic.
Oh, good.
This is an appropriate topic for these cigars.
Are we talking about 2 girls, 1 cup and eating poop?
I remember watching that video. And everyone was like, oh, it's so gross. And I'm like, you know what's really gross? Goatsy. So.
You know what's even grosser is Baccarat cigars.
I know, right? At least 2 girls, 1 cup. It was clearly just like ice cream or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was clearly not the thing that they were pretending it was, but
no less shocking, but still.
Right, yeah, especially for back then, you know.
Yes.
Which who would have thought the early 2000s. Well, no, that was late aughts when I saw it, but
yeah.
Mid aughts, I suppose, but whatever.
Probably mid, yeah. Mid to late.
I wish that it was just woody. If it was just woody, I could handle it. It probably wouldn't be. It'd be interesting. It'd be like a wood fire.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah. It's like a wood fire with diesel in it.
Yep. Yeah. You went to like the hillbilly bonfire and they used white gas or something to light it on fire, and they're burning like their garbage in it.
Yeah. It reminds me of I worked for a farmer in my teens, and he would burn garbage. He had a big brush pile, but the heart of it was like tires and chemicals. You know, all of his spare old chemicals that you couldn't get rid of, and he would just burn it, you know. It reminds me of that. Just awful.
Well, we're doing this so you, the listener, doesn't have to.
Yes. So far, I do not recommend it. If I were to take the first puff or 2 off of this at a cigar shop, I would ask for an exchange or some sort of reason why they had the cigar there. I would definitely I would have to say something. I would have to say something.
Yeah, you would have to. I would ask them to send back the partially smoked stick directly to the factory or the company and say, just send it back.
Right. I mean, I would ask, like, is there something wrong? Did it get wet in the rain? You know.
Did they run out of, did they use actual burned garbage for the binder?
Right. And I got this from a reputable place. I think these came from Cigars Daily. And they said the cigars are very well packaged. Yeah,
Yes.
very well packaged. They even had
I don't
Boveda
think
packs.
the supplier where you got these from is the problem with this stick, Mike.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't get it off a guy wearing a trench coat with nothing underneath it in the alley or something.
Yeah, you didn't get it off a guy in a gimp suit who pulled it out of his prison pocket.
Oh my God. It is at least getting more bearable, I think.
Yeah, the acetone's kind of tapering off a bit. It's still not good.
I would not call it good, but that initial revulsion that I felt is subsiding slowly.
Maybe we're just numb to it now.
The roof of my mouth is coated for sure. We'll see what a couple swigs of water make happen.
Not much, I'm guessing.
I'm trying to like get the grime from the cigar out of my mouth. Which is why I said whiskey earlier, which I might have to get a glass of. But anyway, what we're going to talk about, and this is very related to these cigars, are product warranties. It's super exciting, I know, guys. But product warranties, because I watched a video on the internet machine.
Ooh, gotta be true.
It was true because the guy provided receipts and emails and everything. He had a pair of 15-year-old Red Wing work boots.
Okay.
They had the Super Sole 2.0, and it's important.
Yep.
And the boot sole, after 15 years, went through a process called hydrolysis, which is where the rubber in the sole kind of falls apart and falls off the boot.
Okay.
Now, he resold these boots, so it wasn't a total loss, but he complained to the company, and after 15 years, Red Wing Boots sent him a brand new pair of the exact model of boot that he had worn. Brand new. After 15 years. Wow. And I was like, that's crazy that a company would do that.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Right. And he was a Canadian, so maybe it was his wily Canadian ways. But he had receipts and everything. Huh?
Yeah. I said maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And he took really good care of the boots. They looked brand new. Like, there was not a scuff or a scar on the leather. It was crazy. Yep. I don't even know what he was doing for 15 years where the boots looked that good. But in any case, that got me on this journey.
Okay.
Recently, my coffee pot died. And I've had my coffee pot for 5 years, something like that. And it didn't die. A plastic part internally broke, and it couldn't make coffee anymore.
Okay.
So I contacted the manufacturer, which was Bunn. And they have a 3-year warranty. Go ahead.
They're a reputable coffee implement manufacturer.
Very, very. And I had an email exchange with them. And first of all, they sent me a part that wasn't the actual part that was broken.
Okay.
But then I described in full what the part that was broken was. And they sent me an email back saying that they are not allowed any longer to repair home coffee models. So that told me three things. One is they used to repair the home coffee pots. You could send it in and they'd repair it, which they are no longer legally allowed to do by the government, not because of them. And that if you buy a commercial model, they do repair the models. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So what they did is they sent me a 20% off coupon that was specifically for coffee pots that broke down outside of warranty. So if you have a Bunn coffee pot and for whatever reason it doesn't work anymore and you send them an email, they'll give you 20% off a pot so you can order another one.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. The pot that I had was SCA certified and it's no longer certified, but I still got the same pot anyway. I did want to go get another, certified pot to make it perfect and blah, blah, blah. And for what, I don't know what happened. Their spec isn't good enough to be qualified anymore, but I can live with it, I guess, for 20% off. And I thought that was pretty cool that even though my machine was out of warranty, they still gave me a discount.
Yep.
So I did not send you anything for warranties, but I figured that you would off the top of your head know of some crazy. So the concept is going to be like, what are crazy good warranties that companies do that people can in fact buy a product and have it be pretty much guaranteed to last indefinitely?
Yeah, I'm going to have to try and think a little bit. I know that a lot of companies these days, especially with, I guess cell phones are the big one, right? The planned obsolescence, where they're really only designed to last 3 to 5 years tops. And Apple will force you out of, and I think Android does this too, if your phone is old enough, they'll stop giving it updates so that you have to buy a new one.
Yes.
And a lot of the phones, and I know with phone repair, Apple doesn't allow anyone other than an Apple certified phone tech to work on their phones. So if you have an iPhone and you take it to a repair shop that's not Apple certified, then you can't then sell it back or trade it back in or something. I don't know. And I know if you are an Apple certified phone repair tech, you have to pay Apple a portion of those repair dollars to them. So they get a cut of all the repairs you do.
Oh, yes. Apple's.
So that's maybe an example of a bad warranty situation.
Yes.
But I know there's a big advocacy group going around trying to pass a consumer's right to repair. And I don't think it's just for cell phones. I think it's for all things.
Yes. Louis Rossmann is leading the charge on that publicly. He's got a YouTube channel, and he is a computer and technology repair person that used to own a shop in New York City, and now he owns a shop in, I think it's Houston or Austin, Texas. He moved to Texas from New York.
Yeah.
And I watch his videos. He's been battling New York City. They're still trying to get taxes out of him, even though he hasn't lived there for like 2 years. So,
okay.
Yeah. Apparently, they're a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah,
Apple,
I can believe that.
I know that the iPhone 5 last year officially no longer got updates because I just had to get my parents 2 new iPhones, and they both had iPhone 5s. And but otherwise, they were fine. Functionally, they were fine.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how old those are. Whenever the iPhone 5 came out, was it 2012?
No, they're on the iPhone
like
15 now, so.
Right. It's been a good long haul. So
yeah,
they did get 10 years out of the phone, though they still work. And now you can't turn them in for any money. They cannot get money back for their phones. So they're pretty much just going to a landfill or whatever, you know, they're garbage.
Yeah. Even though the components in there, the metal that's used in there is still valuable, but I guess, not valuable enough to Apple to melt it down to get the whatever it is.
Well, yeah, these companies are so eco-conscious, right, that they're not going to give you any money for your phone that is filled with chips and metals and all sorts of things that could be processed and, reused somehow. Yeah. So it goes back to the idea that a lot of this recycling is a scam concept, which... I should probably do an episode on that, I guess.
Yeah,
because I've come to the conclusion that most all recycling is a scam. So, but that's not what we're talking about today.
That's not what we're talking about.
No. So I came up with a list of things.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Benchmade knives, which we are probably all familiar with, have a lifetime guarantee. Yep. They have free sharpening for life if you send it in. And if you have a Benchmade and you don't like the pocket clip or you break it, you can get a new one. You can send them an email and tell them the kind you want and the model you have, and they will send you a free pocket clip, which I have done.
Nice.
Multiple times. And I think that's pretty cool. I have a couple of Benchmade knives. They used to be my daily drivers before I started carrying a Leatherman every day. Yeah. And I recommend them for people if they want a expensive piece of pocket jewelry that is mostly functional. Access lock is great. So this one is a big one, and some people have not heard of this company yet, but I'm going to tell everybody about it now. Darn Tough Socks, which are wool socks made in Vermont. And they have a guaranteed for life sock. Certain stores that are certified will take your sock with a hole in it and give you a new pair over the counter. Otherwise, you have to contact them and you mail it to them and they'll mail you one back. And they're $25, but they are guaranteed for life. So a lot of the big hiking trails will have boutique stores targeting through hikers. And that's where you can largely exchange them. I don't know if there's any place in Minnesota where you can. Probably. But a sock for life is pretty cool.
Probably true. Like I imagine REI or the Duluth Trading Company, I'm sure, would, if they offer Darn Tough Socks, they would probably do that for you. I mean, REI is an outdoor co-op, so.
Right. It's possible. I know we have like the Superior Hiking Trail and other hiking trails like the Red River Hiking Trail and stuff like that. So there might be a couple stores along the path that would do it. I don't really know for sure. This is something that Nate and I are aware of. Citizen Watch. If you buy a Citizen Watch from a certified dealer, it has a 5-year warranty. If you register it on their website, it's 6. And most Citizen Watches are eco drives, so they are essentially maintenance free other than gaskets for your crown. to make them water resistant. So if you bought a watch, you theoretically could have zero maintenance for the lifetime of the product, which could theoretically be your entire life. Because the way the EcoDrive works is it takes a solar voltaic panel in the face and it charges a capacitor, and then the quartz runs off of the capacitor's drain. And the cap usually stores 6 months worth of energy when it's new. And by 10 years, it's still supposed to be at 90% of life. So after 10 years, you're still supposed to get 5 months, let's say, 90% of 6 months, which that'll diminish accordingly. But as long as you have it in the sun, how long do you need your watch to be charged in the dark, right? A couple hours at most. So
well, and don't those also charge by movement? Or is it only sun?
No, the EcoDrives are only by sun.
Oh,
Yep. So the Chronomaster line, which is not sold in the United States, has a 10-year service interval, but those are like $2,000 to $3,000, and they want you to send them in so that they can calibrate everything. Grand Seikos are 5 years, and that's for battery changes, because a Grand Seiko will run for 5 years without a battery, and you're not allowed to change them. You have to send them in, which is a pain. But their warranty's not quite as good as Citizen's. I mean, the Citizen warranty is excellent. Oris is another watch manufacturer. This one's a mechanical watch. So it's automatic mechanical, so it does charge with movement. And their Caliber 400 has a 10-year warranty and a 10-year maintenance cycle. So you're guaranteed to not have any issues with the watch for 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, you're supposed to send it back to them, and they'll put a new warranty on it. So, if you want to drop $5,000 on a watch, let's say, and then your maintenance cost, which is going to be another several $100s every 10 years, you theoretically will have a watch that will never stop working. And Oris is a luxury brand. You can get a really good Citizen watch for $500, less than $500, realistically. But an Oris, if you're going to get one with Caliber 400, you're spending at least $3,000. Probably more. So, not that everybody loves watches, but it's something to think about.
Yes.
I previously mentioned this. Leatherman. Leatherman has a 25-year warranty. So, if your plier head gets loose or your implements get loose or something like that happens, you can send it in.
What if you break the tip off the knife?
I don't think they do that. You'd have to ask. I think they would consider that abuse. The Leatherman warranty is mostly about not abuse. So the good part is that if your Leatherman plier head gets loose, you send it in. They usually send you a fully refurbished one, and they keep yours. So if you do have a broken knife tip, you won't when you get it back because they just send you a new one, and then their guys repair, and then you never get yours back. So if you do have a personalized, you don't get your original one back. They don't do, like, if you have a personalized one, they won't warranty it because they don't send the original one back. So you're SOL on that. I've never had to take advantage of it, but I know a guy who's sent a Leatherman in multiple times because he uses the pliers a little too aggressively, and he breaks them basically. Yeah. Where are you at in your cigar?
I feel like it's about halfway. What about you?
I'm not quite halfway, but I figured where I'm at, you would be. What do you think so far?
It's kind of sour, I think. I think it's gotten sour.
Mine's sour, but still woody. So it's not... It's got that sourness on the tip of my tongue, but I'm getting wood notes in the back of my mouth. So it could be good. If it didn't have the sour, I would like it. If that makes sense.
Yes. The first half was not totally agreeable, but it did. I think it did just kind of recently change to less acetone and more sour, so.
I'm getting bitter aftertaste, like metallic, like metal, copper maybe. I'm getting the feeling that I have a 9-volt battery, that like awful taste you get in your mouth after you touch a 9-volt battery to your tongue, like that taste. Not pleasant, not.
No.
I would not do it again.
No, I feel, though, that this one is slightly, marginally better than the Connecticut.
I agree. I think it's a lot better. That Connecticut was
Slightly, marginally better than the Connecticut.
right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a lot better. It's not good, though. It's still not good, but
if you have time, will you look up to see the rating on this cigar
sure.
for the listeners? So,
I'll look it up
we can
now.
get a baseline on this because these are awful. I'm going to go through one more thing here. Well, I have several more, but I have taken advantage of this warranty. I am a big fan of Klein hand tools. They are guaranteed for life. I have turned in a lineman plier. I've turned in several nut drivers. The big thing is that you can't have a screwdriver that's been used as a chisel, and you can't have nut drivers that looks like you have put wrenches on them. So they can't be scarred up and messed up. You had to have broken them using them in the way that they were intended. And so as long as they don't look like they were abused, you can turn them in to any supply house, which if you live in a town of any size, you have a supply house. And the supply house will let you grab another one right off the wall, and then they deal with it. It's way better than Snap-on's warranty because Snap-on, you have to talk to the truck tool guy, and he's incentivized to not get you a replacement part or tool. They don't like it, they're replacing their tools, and they're shit. Like, Snap-on screwdrivers suck. They're brittle. I've broken many Snap-on screwdrivers, and they're garbage. I even broke a Snap-on 3/4-inch ratcheting wrench. You strip the gears right out of it. And they didn't like replacing that, even though there was no, signs of abuse or anything like that. And I didn't abuse it, but they are bitter when they talk, when they have to replace a tool. They do not want to do that. Also, Craftsman, which used to be a very good tool, but now when Sears gone, I don't even know where you would go to get a replacement tool for a Craftsman hand tool. I know for a while they were trying to give you gear kits and shit to replace your ratchets with, and they're they've turned into a gimmick. The old Craftsman tools that you can get at secondhand sales, really good, high quality, but I wouldn't trust their warranty or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, if they replaced, I broke the end off a lineman plier. And they replaced it, the Klein. I was like, oh, fucking A.
Okay.
I didn't tell them that I was using it in like negative 30-degree weather. And I was holding a piece of strut that I was hammering with a different tool. But they replaced it, so there we go, right?
There you go. I couldn't find a rating for the Maduro, just the Connecticut we smoked earlier, so.
Okay. Sometimes that happens. That means that it's not very good or it was never tested, one or the other. Even though a lot of the cigars that we like don't have ratings. Like
that's true.
I'm a fan of the MX2, no rating. Other cigars we would have to go through, obviously. But I ripped how would I say this? Every Klein tool I've broken has been in the extreme cold when I've left my tools out all night. And I stripped out a half-inch nut driver. And I was trying to loosen up a bolt that was stuck, and I just sheared the inside of it out. And I intelligently wrapped my channel locks in tape before I put it on them. And so it didn't look like it was scarred up. So you can abuse the Kleins, and they'll still, as long as they don't look like they've been abused, they know that they've been abused. And that one, the supply store sent it to me on a supply truck, and I just handed the driver my old tool. So they're really good as long as you have access to a supply store. Yeah. So I don't know what the supply stores in your local region are, dear listener, but usually you have to have a license of some kind to have access to a supply store. So I don't think Nate could go, but if we did have a listener who was a licensed something or other, they could go there and buy stuff. So
yes.
Yeah. This one, I heard about this. Is my buddy, his dad is a big fan. The Big Green Egg. You know about the Big Green Egg?
Oh, yeah.
But apparently they have a lifetime warranty.
Okay. And for listeners who might not know, that is it looks like a big green egg, and it's a grill, right?
It's a grill and a smoker. Yep. So if you crack it in the middle of winter, they'll replace it. Apparently they're not supposed to crack no matter what, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
But whatever. For those of you who are pet owners, lupine pet collars have a lifetime warranty. And that includes chewing damage. So if you have a dog collar and your dog somehow gets a hold of it and chews it up, they will replace it for free, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a crazy warranty. Yeah. And dogs get a hold of their collars somehow, sometimes. Usually it's other dogs.
It has been known to happen.
Yeah, other dogs get a hold of your dog's collar and damage it with their chewing when they're playing, not in a dog attack, but
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. And stuff like that's expensive. So this is going back to an episode that Nate did. Cutco. Ooh. Cutco has a lifetime warranty. They replace them for free, and they have lifetime sharpening. So if you send it back, they'll sharpen it. And I'm assuming that if you sharpen away too much, they'll send you a new one. I don't know. I've never had a Cutco knife. Have you ever had a Cutco?
Probably. I've
never had one. No. I've been told they're good.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know much about them outside of their, business model, I suppose. But
right.
Well, and I know, come to think of it, like Amway had a pretty good one too. Is it was like a no questions asked. So if you bought a product from them and you didn't like the taste, you didn't like the smell or the color of it, regardless of if it was ingestible or a soap or whatever, you could send it back and they would send you something else of equal value that you would like. So I feel like maybe a lot of those MLM type companies have that kind of thing to keep people feeling good about it.
Right. Yeah. I knew somebody that sold Cutco, and they were good knives, supposedly. I didn't have the money to buy them. I would have bought them.
Yeah. Does Pampered Chef have a warranty thing like that, or a customer satisfaction
I don't know.
thing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Let's look it up. Internet the show here, people. You can only get it here.
Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever used a warranty, Mike.
Really? Really? Apparently they have a lifetime warranty, but who knows how good it is.
Yeah, we don't have experience with it. We'll just put it that way.
No, I don't have experience with the Pampered Chef warranty. You've never had to have a warranty on stuff. I've had to do it a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually fill out for the warranties, and I don't know. Maybe I should, but...
Right. Well, like Klein...
I also don't...
It's just there.
A lot of high-end tools and things,
Right. The Klein warranty is epic. Well known in the industry. You just have to be careful about how you use and abuse your stuff.
Yes.
Obviously. And their tips, Mastercraft by Menards has a really good warranty as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't buy Mastercraft to use professionally, though, as I bought some Mastercraft screwdrivers that looked like Klein screwdrivers, and I broke every tip out of 5. Every single one, including the Phillips tip, I broke. Sheared it right off with my hand, Not abusing them at all. And a Klein tip will usually bend. It won't shatter. Shatter, you can get warranted. Bent, you can't, right? So the shattering is where you can say that they didn't properly temper it or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I had with Snap-on screwdrivers as well. Every single one, just shatter.
Okay.
Which I don't think is a me problem. I think it's a them problem, but whatever. Maybe, maybe not.
Well, it takes 2 to tango, Mike. It takes 2.
That's true. And I'll do one more shout out for a boot company, Nick's Boots. Most of the Pacific Northwest boots are the same. So White's, Nick's, Frank's, those companies. They will rebuild your boot indefinitely. As long as your upper is good, they'll replace everything other than the upper shaft for a much reduced price, a significantly reduced price. So if you don't have safety requirements for your work boots, it's a good option long term. Yep. I think most people have to wear safety boots nowadays, though. So I don't know.
Could be.
I do. I don't get the deal. Now I'm going to have a special category. Unless you have a great warranty, which you just said you don't know anything about warranties, unless you know of some great product warranties, I'm going to bring up one that really offends my sensibility, and then I'm going to shit on Home Depot after that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Carhartt has a lifetime warranty on their duck canvas workwear against rips and tears.
Okay.
Which is bullshit. That's impossible. By the very nature of a duck canvas pant or jacket, you're going to get rips and tears. That's in the nature of what the thing is. That's impossible. You know what I mean? Like, why would they even say that? There's no fucking way that you're going to send a pair of your Carhartt pants, let's say, that have holes in them, and they're going to send you a new pair. That's impossible. And if I'm wrong, send us an email. And correct my misstatement. But I cannot believe that would be possible. How? How would that even be a thing? That's like a warranty with no teeth. You know what I mean? You're just saying it out loud because you're allowed to legally.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
But they would go... So you're saying they would probably go bankrupt replacing every pair of pant that ripped.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they would go bankrupt. I mean, you're wearing these pants as safety. It's a safety tool for your body to protect you from jagged edges and whatever. Of course you're going to rip the pants. That's what they're there for, is so that it rips the pants instead of ripping you. I've ripped so many pairs of Carhartts. So many pairs. Doing everything from lifting boxes to sliding across cable tray to whatever. It gets snagged up on something and it cuts your pants up. Like, that's kind of why they're there. At least that's my opinion, right? It's there to protect you from the element that you're in. So it's kind of like lighting yourself on fire. Like, you want a pant that if you do light it on fire, it smolders instead of goes up in flame. Like, you lit it on fire. It's not the manufacturer's fault that you lit your pant on fire. You know, you just have to choose the right one so that it doesn't damage you.
Yes.
Or whatever, right? Like, it's ridiculous on its face. Do you know of any warranties? We talked about Apple, but is there anything else that's like blatant to you?
Oh, I don't know if this is the same thing or not. And I know we had Al on and we talked board games a bit, but this isn't so much a warranty, but there are some board game companies that are better than others with their customer service at any rate. So if you lose pieces to board games, a lot of board game companies will either send you the pieces you lost for free or will, let you buy replacement parts for the game so you don't have to go and buy the whole game over again. One recently I had was I have a game and it's a kind of an intro to heavy economic train games. And there were a couple of cards that were misprinted in the initial print run, which is the one that I had. And so I found out that they had offered people replacement cards with the misprints corrected maybe a year ago, but I missed that. And so I emailed the publisher, and he emailed back right away and said, sure, I'll just drop him in the mail to you. And I didn't have to pay anything, and I got the replacement cards. And it's not like they were important to gameplay cards because the rule book corrected one of them kind of, and then the other ones were for additional scenarios you could play later on. So, but I know, some companies have much better customer service than others, which isn't quite a warranty, but it's kind of in the spirit of warranties, I suppose.
It can be, for sure. We bought a board game called Firefly, made by Upper Deck, which we saw in stores yesterday. So it's still in stores. Yep. Half of the cards did not have printing on them in our version of the game. So my Sarah contacted Upper Deck, who's the manufacturer, who is supposed to be reputable, multiple times with no response at all. And she contacted the people, the contact information that came in the game for your complaints and your warranty, blah, blah, blah. No response. None. And that was kind of disappointing. Not that it was a super expensive game, but it's in the vein of like you misprinted half of the cards in this deck. It is unusable. The board is good. The pieces are good. Yeah, it's not a functional game. Now it's just a knick-knack.
Yeah. I had another customer service. I had picked up a computer case. This is going to be nerdy, even maybe nerdier than board games. But I picked up a computer case, a mid-sized tower case, Antec, and it was missing. They have these, I don't know if it's custom screws in the back to hold the side panels on, but they're like the big kind of knobs on the end of the screws, so you can easily put them on with your fingers and take them off with your fingers, so you can slide the side panel off and swap out RAM or clean it or what have you. And it was missing those, and I emailed the company, Antec, and I said, hey, I just bought one of these, at a garage sale, and it's missing the screws for the back. Can I buy them from you? And they're like, no, give us your address. Here you go. And they sent me like a fuck ton of them, like a baggie of them. I only needed 4. Yeah, they sent me like a baggie of them. So, how expensive are tiny little screws? Not bad, but that's like, and they even knew I didn't buy it directly from them, but they don't care. They want their product to look good and, represent their brand out there.
Word of mouth advertising, you help out one nerd, that one nerd is going to pass the word along to how many other nerds, You know what I mean? That's kind of like Red Wing Boots giving the guy a new pair of boots after 15 years because they didn't warn him about the sole possibly falling apart after not being used for 6 months or whatever. Like, that's pretty crazy. But how many pairs of Red Wing Boots has that guy sold them? You know what I mean?
A lot. Probably.
Right? Yeah. Like, how many? I think that video had like 112,000 views or something like that. So at least 100,000 people saw that video. That's pretty good. That's really efficient advertising for your product. Right?
Yes.
That's incredible. So now, because I'm a dick, I'm going to shit on Home Depot. Because I've recently noticed, and it came down the pipeline, and I looked online, and other people noticed too. Home Depot is replacing slowly all of the Klein stuff they had with Milwaukee, which is mostly communist Chinese made bullshit. I would not want some commie hand tool when I know for a fact that you can get a good, high-quality, American-made product with a lifetime warranty that costs the same amount. It's not like the Milwaukee is less. It costs the same. It's just made in a slave factory in communist China, and it's got a red handle instead of a blue handle, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that there's Milwaukee fanboys out there, but that's for the power tools. That's not for the hand tools. Yeah. So I'm not going to crap on Milwaukee drills, gentlemen, so don't worry. They're perfectly fine. However, DeWalt's are made in the USA, so just saying. They, you got to make it home first, right? And then...
Yeah, well, and where's Ryobi made for power tools?
Oh, the same factory Milwaukee's made in, I'm sure. I believe that they're the same company. I think Rigid.
Oh, okay.
Rigid and Milwaukee are owned by the same company. DeWalt's a Black & Decker product, so it's like DeWalt, Black & Decker, and Craftsman are all one umbrella. And I don't know if Ryobi... There's really only two big power tool companies that make all the drills. Makita is on its own, and Hilti's on its own. But even Metabo got bought out by Hitachi, and I think Hitachi is one of the two big companies, too. It's all like Stanley, Black & Decker, or Milwaukee. Yeah. Like they own almost everything. Yeah. So that's why the secondary tools like Ryobi and Rigid are so good, is that they're now just older versions of DeWalt and Milwaukee, right? So, you can buy a Ryobi, and it's pretty good. Like, it's not a bad tool anymore. Certainly good enough for home use. Yeah. It's not going to be as good as the latest edition Milwaukee, but it'll be good enough, Yeah. Also, and this made me mad, they're getting rid of all their Estwing hammers and axes and supplies, and it looked like all their Empire levels, and they're replacing it with DeWalt and Milwaukee junk. Like, an Estwing hammer is made in the USA with a warranty and everything else. And unfortunately, the DeWalt and Milwaukee hammers and stuff, like levels, they're just made in cheap in foreign countries with slave labor, and they're just not going to be as good. Yeah, it's impossible. Now, I do have myself a 2-foot Milwaukee box level. That's fantastic. Okay. So I am subject to this as well. Like, I bought a Milwaukee level that wasn't made in the USA. In my defense, it was the only level that was actually level in the town in which I live, right? Like, I wanted to buy a Stabila, which I have a Stabila torpedo level, which is German made, but they don't sell Stabila anywhere near me. So I had to buy a Milwaukee. I wanted to buy a Stabila 2-foot level. Yeah. But I wasn't going to drive to fucking Fargo, or whatever to go and buy one. Yeah. And I certainly wasn't going to order a level online. That would never happen. Yep. But
well, and I think, just to be clear for our listeners, is both Mike and myself are not above just going to Harbor Freight and getting a tool that we need,
No, I'm not.
There's definitely some higher quality ones there, and they've got some really crap quality ones there as well. But it basically comes down to usage. If you're a professional or you're going to use it a lot, then you better go get one of the good brands. And if you just need something to do the one thing around the house every once in a while, then Harbor Freight's just fine most of the time.
Harbor Freight's warranty, since we're talking about it, is awesome. You bring it in and they give you a new one, and they don't ask questions because they don't care, because it's cheap junk, so they don't give a shit. Yeah. So if you're going to have I have impact sockets from Harbor Freight. Well, I got them on sale for next to nothing. And why wouldn't I? Like, I don't need a full set of Snap-on impact sockets for my home use. Right?
Yeah,
I just don't need that.
You're not doing the NASCAR pit change or anything at home. You're just
No. It's like, I'm gonna take the lug nuts off my truck once a year or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I'm not. If I use it enough to break it, I can go and get a new one, but I'll never break it. Right? Like, I have a mid torque. Yep. I don't even have a high torque. So, and their swivel head ratchet is very good. I'll tell you that.
Yes. As previously mentioned on the show.
Previously mentioned on the show. Yeah. So I'm not against buying tools that are not made in the United States. Just like I'm not against buying any product. You can't be hardline about that in the modern world. But when it comes to
there's a lot of quality products from other countries, but there's a lot of crap from other countries, and there's a lot of crap from American companies too. So it's not necessarily just a blanket statement.
No.
To say, well, American-made tools are always better.
No, they're not. And my Milwaukee level is good. It's a very high quality level. Now, is it as good as a Stabila level? I'm going to guess no. Also, I'm going to guess their warranty is not as good because a Stabila made German level. I've never had to use a warranty, but I've been told stories about guys that have broken the dials and they bring it into Acme or wherever and they just give them a new one off the shelf.
Okay.
And then they turn it in because you're talking... this was 10 years ago at least. I bought my torpedo level, and it was $55 then for a 9-foot torpedo, 0 and 90 degree level. Just very basic.
Yep.
But goddamn if it doesn't sit in my tool bag and it's still level 10 years later.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's flawless.
Yeah.
It's worth every penny if you're going to use it to make money. My 2-foot level is used to hang pictures in the house. And build shelves or whatever. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even magnetic. Like, I have no intention of... Maybe it is magnetic. I can't remember. If it's got magnets or not.
Most levels are magnetic, but I've got a tiny little, I don't know, it's got to be like a 6 or 8 inch level I use it for hanging pictures or something, and it's got a little magnetic strip, but I don't even know what brand it is. Just when I got my first tool kit that one Christmas or whatever, it was just in there, and it's been fine for what I've needed it for. I've got a bigger level out here in the garage, but what do you do?
I've gone through a lot of torpedo levels. A lot. I've had almost every brand of torpedo level until I finally bit the bullet and got a Stabila. I had Greenlee, No Dog, multiple kinds of Empire levels. What the hell? There's one now I can't remember. Electricians love it. Now I can't remember the brand. It's got like 7 different settings. I've had so many different levels, and all of them I've broken every single one of them. So, and almost in no time at all. Because you put it on a piece of conduit and you're bending it, or you put it on a pipe and you're moving it, they fall off, or you hit the something that the level's on and that gets jostled around, or they just get unlevel.
Yes.
My No Dog level lasted a long time. No Dog is a brand. It's a style of level, but there's a brand called No Dog, and they made a torpedo level. And that was a really good level. But I broke one of the vials out of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But other than that, and of course it was the 0 degree vial. Why wouldn't it be? Or maybe it was the 90. I think it was the 90. But it doesn't matter. You really only need 2. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, I have to shit on Home Depot for that, though, because they're a nationwide corporation that is supposedly so patriotic. That's their marketing. And they're replacing a legacy company, 2 legacy companies like Klein and Estwing with, just foreign-made junk. Yep. And I really don't know if it's junk, but I want to call it junk all the same.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably perfectly serviceable. It's probably not to the same level as Klein and the other company, but it all comes down to it all depends on how the use is. And Home Depot is, I guess you get contractors that go to Home Depot and stuff, but you got to think their average customer is just like the homeowner doing projects around the house.
Professionals go there too, though, because they sell parts that professionals would go and buy, especially in an emergency, Yeah. And like my dad has Estwing hammers that he bought in the 1960s. Still in use today. He's got one framing hammer that's been remilled so many times that it can't be remilled anymore. You know what I mean? Like, these are ancient tools that were used very heavily for a lifetime of service. And they will still be used after he is dead. Perfectly usable. You know what I mean? No damage at all.
Yep.
So it's just, I don't know. I'm against it.
Yep.
So next time you go to Home Depot, poo-poo them in your mind. Don't attack any of the sales associates, but poo-poo them in your mind.
It's not the employee's call, to change out the inventory stock or what have you, the suppliers.
No. So, are you done with your cigar?
Where you're at with? Yeah. I mean, there's still maybe like an inch left.
I'm about the same place. I caught up to you.
Yeah, the last part is, I think, better than the first part, but I'm still not really digging it.
You know what? I'm not digging it, but it's perfectly serviceable right now. It's no longer offensive to me.
Yeah.
Which is a vast improvement from the start, because I was gagging a little bit when we...
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll cut that out or if you even heard it, but I was gagging when I lit this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any more warranties, or are you ready to do final thoughts on the stick?
Oh, I'm ready to do final thoughts. I'm ready
right.
to do final thoughts. I was hoping you'd have some warranties of your own. I know this isn't really an exciting topic a lot of times.
Oh no, like it's a good topic,
outs.
and I think it's good to be aware of because I'm really trying to remember. I don't think I've ever really done a warranty or taken advantage of a warranty. It's one of those things, though, that if you're spending good money on something, you should take advantage of the warranty or make sure you fill out for the warranty or extended warranty. You know, like you said, if you register watches, you could get an extra year warranty coverage and things like that. I know some of my things have come with a warranty, but so far, I haven't been hard enough on anything to have anything break, I guess. So I haven't really used the warranties, but it's good to keep in mind. And I think especially with the modern trend, I don't know if it's a true trend or if it's just a trend everybody kind of thinks is like modern made stuff is not as good as previously made things. So
that is
kind of depending.
A thought that people have. It'll shock you that when I go to these swap meets with Sarah, I check out the old hand tools, and a lot of the old hand tools do appear to be higher quality to me. As I check out the old electrical tools and the old pliers and things like that, and they do appear to be of higher quality.
Okay.
And you could get hand tools made locally. They used to have a foundry in Duluth that made hand tools, and they made a lot of hand tools in Wisconsin back in the day. And Chicago. Yeah. Ideal tools used to be made in Chicago. So you could get some really high quality stuff made right here in this region. Fargo had a foundry. I've seen hand tools from there.
Okay.
And they were really good. I know the old cable cutters that Klein made, they were intended to be sharpened. So they were forged in such a way where you could sharpen them and they would be like long term, you could use them. Where a lot of the new cable cutters, once you start to damage them, they're pretty much SOL. You know, you can deburr them, but once they start to break apart, they're pretty much... You can only do so much to repair them.
Yeah.
And I've wore out cable cutters. I've wore out side cutters just from cutting so many things over and over and over again. And I think the older ones, you could just fix them. So possibly. So.
Yeah. I know a lot of things are designed to not be repairable or fixable. You know, they just want you to go buy a new one. But if they have a warranty, then you can exchange it for a new one. So that's good.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, someone like you who uses these tools every day, or, you know, your work boots every day, or, you know, things that you use every day, that's doubly important to check the warranties and be aware of the warranties, because a lot of the things that you're required to have, or a lot of the things that you need, only come in expensive or more expensive varieties. So
right, and something like Red Wing work boots are made. The Super Soul 2.0s are made in Red Wing, Minnesota. So if you are living here, you could legitimately drive to the factory and buy them straight from the factory if you wanted to. And they resole them here, and they whatever, you know. So if that's important to you, and you find them to be comfortable, which is a big thing, then that's good, because I've had my issues with Red Wing work boots over the years. I like the Super Soul 2.0s, but I would not recommend Dynaforce or any of that other junk. They're just way too hard on my feet. I don't like them. But not that that's super important to everybody, but all right. Well, final thoughts on the cigar.
Well, I don't recommend either of the Baccarats, to be honest with you. I know we have one more we're smoking for sure, but if you were between a rock and a hard place and had to choose one, I would choose the Maduro over the Connecticut. And these are the Baccarat of the game. I saw other Baccarat cigars listed on Cigar Aficionado, and I was looking up, trying to find the ratings for these ones. And so they have other cigars too. But online, everybody seems to like the game line from Baccarat, but I don't. So take that for what it's worth, I guess.
And the bad taste is back with an inch left. So I'm putting mine down.
Okay. Yep. I put mine down because the bad taste never really left, but
I smoked the Maduro longer. I would not recommend either one of these.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Maybe we got bad sticks and it was just us.
I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine that being the case, but maybe. I don't know.
Maybe,
if everybody
I don't
else
know.
likes them, maybe we're just weirdos, but I wouldn't recommend
I don't
it.
know. There's
wouldn't
people,
recommend it.
There's people that like and will actually order of their own free will Jägermeister. So
There are people that actually genuinely want to drink Jägermeister and Rumpelmints as well.
yes,
And
yes,
yellow Listerine.
and more power to them.
Yeah, more power to them. So much like bronyism or gimp suits, I do not recommend the Baccarat, the game,
Yes,
of any variety.
Yes. So far.
So far.
All right. Well, we will catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Be safe, have fun.